Hello students, I am Gunjan Malik Manocha, Assistant Professor in Institute of Hotel and Tourism Management, MDU Rohtak. Welcome to EPG Pathshala. We are studying the paper Managing Culture and Diversity, and today we will study the module Learning Organization in a Globally Diversified Environment. The outcome would be that by the end of this module, students will be able to understand the concept of learning organization. You will be able to understand the diversity and the learning organization. So let's start with introduction. The concept of learning organization was evolved to enhance the capabilities of people in the organization through magnifying the capabilities of individual, shaping their minds, providing them vision, developing team learning habit and system thinking approach. The learning organization is a concept that is becoming an increasingly widespread philosophy in the modern companies, from large MNCs to even smaller ventures. The learning organization, as defined by saying, is the learning organization is an organization where people continually expand their capacity to create the results they truly desire, where new and expansive patterns of thinking are nurtured, where collective aspiration is set free, and where people are continually learning how to learn together. The internal consideration of a learning organization was illustrated by saying through 5 learning disciplines that characterized long-term plans of both individual and organizational learning through practice. Peter Senge's 5 learning disciplines of a learning organization. As the diagram displays, there are 5 learning disciplines. The number 1 is system thinking, number 2 is personal mastery, number 3 is mental models, 4 is building shared vision, and 5th is team learning. Let's explain them one by one. Number 1, personal mastery. Mastery means a special level of proficiency and a capability of lifelong learning. People with a high level of personal mastery are committed to lifelong learning. Personals displaying high level of person mastery, they are able to consistently realize the results that matter most deeply to them. The second important discipline is mental models. Well, the mental models are the deeply ingrained generalizations, the pictures, assumptions, which influences the way we understand and see the world with our mental images. Our mental models affects our behavior and attitude. The third important discipline is shared vision. Mastering the shared vision implies learning the art to dictate a vision. It involves the art and skill of unearthing the future and fostering genuine commitment rather than mere compliance. The next dimension is team learning. Teams and not the individuals, they are the building blocks of an organization. Similarly, team learning is the heart of an organization. Organization learns and grows and it becomes productive only and only when the team learns and develops. The next learning discipline is systems thinking. Well, this is a conceptual framework and understanding that system is what matters and not the individual units. Peter Senge's 5 learning disciplines of a learning organization. The discipline helps the managers and employees to modify the systems more effectively, and it helps in understanding the dynamic processes within the larger organizations and the natural, environmental and economic factors and how they can be modified. Learning organization defines as an organization which is skilled at creating, acquiring, transferring the knowledge and at modifying its behavior to reflect the new knowledge and the insights. The imperative element of this definition is the prerequisite that it gets modified in the way the work gets completed. Let's take an example. The Infosys institutionalized the best practices existing throughout the organization using KM, knowledge management. The company also used knowledge management to facilitate the reuse of those best practices, assigning in the challenges faced by the company, challenges in the terms of high quality products, better productivity, increased customer satisfaction. At Infosys, knowledge management has helped to connect people, transferring knowledge geographically, sharing and caring culture, providing platform for problem solving, and creating a symbiotic relationship among the individual and the organization. The practice of assembling an organization into a learning one reveals the hidden talent of creativeness from an individual and fosters shared learning, which is important for encouraging innovation and rapid and prompt responsiveness to this worldwide competition. In a nutshell, a learning organization is constantly improvising on the account of learning experiences in the organization, working in sync strategic goals. For the purpose of getting better and better, it becomes mandatory for the organization to confine its organizational knowledge. As delineated by Prahlad and Hamill in 1990, the course of action of how an establishment learns and identifies the conclusion of the processes in correlation to the development of core competencies which represent the mutual learning in the organization. McKinsey's 7S framework. McKinsey's 7S framework brings a systems view for relating the major differences between a traditional organization and a learning organization. The first six elements of the framework revolve around the organization's shared values. However, HIT adds a 8th element as synergistic teams, which describes as the missing link. The element which HIT regarded is the core of the learning organization. Synergistic teams provide the means for the members of the organization to learn together, developing collective intelligence that is greater than the sum of intelligence of the individual members. Now, this diagram displays the McKinsey's 7S framework, which was introduced by Robert H. Waterman. Now we see there are 7 S in this diagram. The number 1 is structure. That is, what structure do we need to execute the strategy? System. What business system do we need to use to execute the strategy? Shared value. Which of our principles help us? Why do we do what we do in the way we do it? Style. What leadership style and cultural qualities will help us to achieve our objective? Staff. How should we help our managers in their growth? Skills. What are the specific skills that will help us? What skills do we need to develop? Strategy. What should we do to solve the specified business problem? Now, all the circles which are green in color are the hard S. All the circles which are pink in color belong to the soft S. The table in this slide, which shows the elements, there are 8 elements, and the behaviors in traditional organization and learning organization. The number 1 is shared values. In traditional organization, there is effectiveness as well as efficiency. And in learning organization, the key word is organizational renewal. Second element, style of management. Well, if we talk about the style of management, traditional organization follows a controlling, a strong vigil-based monitoring, whereas the learning organization follows mentoring, sharing, learning, and spreading knowledge. If we talk about the plan, the action plan or the strategy, traditional organization follows top to down approach, whereas learning organization follow employee involvement and participation based approach. The fourth element is structure. The traditional organization follows bureaucratic approach based on the power structure, the chain of command and the hierarchy, whereas the learning organization follows the horizontal and very flat structures where there is strong networking. If we talk about people characteristics, the traditional organization possess experts in their field to the extent that learning may have stopped. And if you talk about the learning organization, they believe in continuous learning, ardent reader and learner. When it comes to employee skills, they have adaptive learning, and learning organization employees have generative learning. When it comes to measurement system, the traditional organization follow financial and monetary measures, whereas learning organization, they give importance to both financial, monetary, non-financial and non-monetary benefits. And the last is team characteristics. In traditional organization, we generally see working groups, departmental boundaries, they may lack teamwork. Whereas in learning organization, you will get to see cross-functional teams, TQM and QCs are the hallmark. Now let's discuss certain core values of learning organization. Number 1, mastery. Value different kinds of knowledge and learning styles. Thus, the value of multicultural tolerance, it needs to be imbibed. Second, it encourages communication between people with different perspectives. Views and ideas need to be taken in an open forum so that all feel being included. In organizations with a globally diversified workforce, it becomes very necessary to especially take the views of the diversified workforce and encourage them to give their opinions and ideas openly. Third, develop creative thinking. Fourth, remain non-judgmental of others and their ideas. Fifth, develop leadership throughout the organization. Sixth, reduce distinctions between the members of the company. Seventh, believe that every member of the organization has an untapped human potential. Let's discuss certain characteristics or the features of learning organization. Number 1, they have constant readiness. Number 2, they have continuous planning. Number 3, improvised implementation. And number 4, they follow action learning. Now we'll discuss certain steps which are required for developing a learning organization. First, a learning organization is the term given to a company that facilitates the learning of its members and continuously transforms itself. Learning organization develop as a result of pressures facing modern organizations and enables them to remain competitive in the business environment. Now let's discuss the characteristics of learning organizations in globally diversified and multicultural environment. The first is system-wide change programs designed for a globally diversified workforce. Second, emphasizes the reduction of organizational layers and involvement of all the employees. This basically inculcates inclusiveness. Third is continuous self-directed learning that leads to positive change in the individual, team and organizational performance. Next, a learning organization has developed continuous capacity to adapt and change. It requires its members to be flexible, adaptive and tolerant. It brings together the key members in a collaborative process to discover the problems. Mixed teams comprising of members from diversified workforce helps to brainstorm issues and challenges from various angles and perspectives. Next, continuous testing of experience and the transformation into knowledge accessible to the whole organization. Well, a department or a team can become the role model which acts as the guidance for the others to follow the leader. The learning organization includes participative management philosophy, which involves all the members of the group. Employees share and they seek experiences of the others. They gain through interactions and inter-team problem-handling solutions. They deal with conflict integral to teamwork. Now let's discuss the steps which needs to be taken for inculcating learning organization in a globally diversified work environment. The first step is understanding the organization strategy as a process of learning. Second step, the understanding of organizational structures, values, which helps in creating sustaining learning organizations. The third step, top leadership ability and task-oriented team. It plays an important role in fostering the conducive learning. Strategy as a learning process. In a global scenario, it is important to create and sustain a business as a knowledge-creating company, which is now known as learning organization. Learning organization as communities which rely on service, knowledge, sharing of expertise and underlying philosophy of the business, which should be communicated and adapted by all the employees of the company. Learning organization communities are characterized as open, communicative, which encourage sharing, tolerance, collaboration, and trust. Now, let's discuss certain values which are found in collaborative learning cultures. There are 9 values. The number 1 is cross communication at all the levels. Number 2, encouraging sharing and learning by colleagues. Number 3, cross-functional teams for achieving the goals. Number 4, learning as a value should be inculcated in practice. Number 5, generation of new ideas. Number 6, innovative solutions should be developed through combined efforts. Number 7, values like transparency and concern for others, it should be encouraged. Number 8, open communication channel should be encouraged. Number 9, knowledge sharing sessions should also be encouraged. Well, this diagram clearly shows that knowledge management system revolves around process, people and knowledge. And it starts with, as in the yellow portion you can see, acquire, create, share the knowledge, utilize the knowledge, capture it and then again retrieve it. Strategy as a learning process. For the promotion of teamwork in any organization and to foster learning, it is imperative to focus on core competencies of the individuals, keeping in view the future. The proactive approach of the management plays a very important role in enabling positive leadership, which can easily handle the workforce diversity. The organizational values and the processes should be strongly propagated in all meetings and discussions in order to make the communication more effective. Thus, the core values of the organization should be cherished in such a way that a collaborative orientation, open communication, creativity and willingness to work in the challenging atmosphere is encouraged. A learning orientation emphasizes on learning through experimentation, improvement, testing, evaluation to support the long-term goals of the organization. Innovative communities heavily rely on learning orientation as they encourage creativity, experimentation and risk-taking. Therefore, all the business organizations need to ensure that they provide plenty of learning opportunities at the workplace. Second, the organizational structures and the HR systems. Archetypal HR systems posited exist in organizations and which could influence how employees relate and interact with one another. A meso-level approach to link differing HR systems with employees' helping behavior. A key in this approach is recognizing the intermediate socio-cognitive environments that stem from strategic HR systems and then support conceptually the distinct forms of interpersonal relationships among employees. Such environments, which we label as relational climates, influence how and why helping is likely to emerge and be sustained among employees. We argue that HR systems are associated with particular relational climate and they offer propositions regarding dimensions central to describing the impetus and maintenance of helping within the particular HR systems. After highlighting the configurations of practices of specific HR systems, we characterize the nature and prevalence of helping behavior anticipated within them. Also, transparency with the organization promotes a culture wherein knowledge enhancement through informing about each of the new strategies can be developed by the organizations. The organizational structures and the HR systems. The KSF involves the strategies associated with a number of key performance measures. These measures are both financial and non-financial. Some examples of non-financial measures are level of involving human resource in continually improving strategies, number of mission awards to be presented, level of employee satisfaction to be evaluated. 2 KSF in particular are relevant to the evolution of any company as a learning organization, namely people and continuous improvement. Now let's discuss all the key success factors. The number one KSF is people. An HR manager should seek to stimulate and energize the pool of the talented workforce, that is, those who have a deep sense of commitment towards the organization. The strategic objectives promoting KSF includes, first, to enrich an atmosphere that attracts the employees. Second, to establish an action plan that encourages the development of employees to their maximum strengths. Third, to develop a state of dedication and fidelity for enhancing leadership. A HR manager role includes motivating the staff, defining the behaviors which is essential to support the success and also evaluate the performance of employees. HR personnel help support line management by creating and implementing performance appraisal systems. Additionally, the companies having HR staff, they design and deliver training programs that accelerate employee development. The second KSF is continuous improvement. As HR, they must inculcate a continuously improving culture in the organization. Strategies which support this KSF include, first, identification of improvement opportunities by measuring and analyzing work process. Second, enabling all the employees to play an effective role in continuous improvement. And third, benchmarking the key work processes. Various initiatives. The HR manager must encourage his pool to build up belongingness by sharing the mutual goals. HR manager can facilitate in developing personal mastery to help the employees achieve personal mastery. Also, various feedback sessions must be taken from each of the participants once training is received to encourage an open environment wherein each one has a say and also encourage them to adhere to the persistent changes. Each organization requires the following model, which has been created by Dr. Don Kirkpatrick, namely 4 levels of Kirkpatrick model, wherein level 1 is reaction evaluates how participants respond to the training. Level 2, learning measures if they actually learned the material. Level 3, behavior considers if they are using what they learned on the job. Level 4, results evaluates if the training positively impacted the organization. Hence, this model would help in evaluating the effectiveness of training and making organizations a better learning space. Also, successful diversity management requires the HR managers to possess skills in leadership, development, change management, communication, measurement, and assessment. Such cross-cutting skills might seem broadly useful to the success of any business initiative. However, there is a key difference with diversity management. For organizations to profit from diversity, the people in those organizations must change how they interact. Diversity's focus on changing human processes requires and defines HR's role in diversity management. Third, leadership and individual roles. Well, leadership is a concept of synergizing the whole network of the entire universe at the workplace. Through encouraging and developing the teams, it is the need of the time these days. Strong base for developing flexible structures, enabling boundary spanning and interfaces to operate, communicate the vision effectively. Development of leadership skills to develop structures and resolve uncertainty and ambiguity. Perspective and expertise leaders, they may draw from other disciplines. The general leadership attributes required by the knowledge leaders, the particular role leaders, they may play in building collaboration in team learning community. Knowledge leadership needs to be evident through the organization and should operate at a range of levels. This section highlights some of the essential contributions knowledge leaders make that rely on the understanding of systems, processes, and people. The third KSF is leadership and individual roles. The contribution made by the knowledge leadership includes strategic visionary, motivator and communicator. The process of providing the direction and inspiration which is necessary to create, provide direction to and sustain an organization is basically strategic visionary. Motivator. Knowledge leadership is based on relationship building and encouragement of others to take on the leadership roles. Communicator. Knowledge leaders help to build formal and informal communication. It links across the organization. These communication channels help the knowledge leaders review their progress, identify the potential misunderstandings, and share the good practice. Leadership and individual roles. Team awareness becomes an important indicator of maturity, enabling members to share concerns about processes and discuss the areas which need investigating. Leadership influences reduces with more delegation to the team members, still operate to promote open discussion and resolve any conflicts or disputes. It requires a confident and authoritative team leader who provides vision, reassurance, and a positive feedback. Roles played by a knowledge leader. First, playing a major role in building a collaborative knowledge culture. Again, in building the knowledge management system, in framing the knowledge policy, and in developing the effective knowledge processes. Diversity and the learning organization. Diversity is not just a way of managing people. It is the process of understanding and doing the business that recognizes that a good strategy, market penetration, personal retention, and creation of a safe workplace. The concept basically focuses on the idea of encouraging new ideas by enhancing the diversified pool and managing as well as incorporating them in the benefits of various communities. As organizations develop their capacity to value diversity, they enhance their capacity to learn. This ability to learn enables them to be open to the diverse ideas, strategies, and markets, resulting in increased performance. The quality concept of exceeding the needs of customers comes into consideration. The changing demographics of the students and the generational differences between the students and faculty require that an organization learn about its customers. If the organization fails to learn from the diversity, then the future will be troubled. A learning organization enables contributions from the people by discovering the multiple ways to contribute, by utilizing the diversity of their backgrounds and perspectives, by recognizing their unique roles, and by providing support for the whole person. Implications for HRD practice. HRD can contribute by facilitating the learning how level and the learning why level. Learning who, it holds learning why level will have greater self-efficacy, hence improved performance, consequently set more challenging career goals, demonstrate commitment to be flexible, adaptive, and innovative. To achieve this, the specific policy and structure initiative includes decentralize the HRD activities, increasing the responsibility of employees for learning and development, developing skills in the managers to be effective learners, promoting continuous and professional developmental policies, provide support mechanism to facilitate mutual learning, and to promote organizational boundary spanning and interfaces. Now let's discuss the possible measures that HRD can take care for developing the learning organizations. Number 1. Enhancing the capacity to ask questions. Identifying the learning through reflection. Ensuring opportunities to learn critically. Providing time and space to deal with the problems. Moving away from the hierarchical learning groups. Empowering the learners to drive the learning process. And working cooperatively on the real life issues. Certain other possible measures: learning through actions, making mentoring a strategic business imperative, reducing the generational conflicts, trying to enable knowledge transfer, reward, don't punish, mature employees for mentoring, ask the matured employees about someone who enabled the succeed, continuous assessment, of effectiveness of employees' career development efforts. Conclusion. As a HR manager, the learning organization as a concept has turned out to be an emerging part for all the organization's overall progress. Though there are no perfect learning organizations currently, but there are few most successful organizations who have implemented these ideas in order to be most preferred organization in the world and manage diverse workforce. To synergize with their values of the individuals in the terms of team vision, which is increasingly recognized as our most important resource. The need of today's global market is to overcome the challenges faced by adopting the new methods and means facilitating the employees to achieve the mission and the vision of the organizations through managing the diversity in the organization. The concept facilitates and builds an atmosphere of getting along by sharing knowledge and concerns of each and thereby bringing about innovative techniques. Leaders can provide help and prove to be an important element for increasing and enhancing the knowledge base of each in the organization by developing an apt strategy, as it also gives a surety that there is a great pool of talent already persistent who can provide value addition to the organization. In designing and implementing strategies for effective management of the diversified workforce, all these dimensions have to be taken care of and dealt with great care if we want success in the organization. Thank you.